Now let's go into Settings, General, and let's take a look at the Usage area. This section contains info on things like how much space your apps are taking up and how much iCloud storage you're using, if you're an iCloud user. Now, when you first open Usage, your device might take a few moments to think. What it's doing is scanning itself and figuring out how much space each of your apps is taking up. It then lists the apps in order of the ones using the most space on your device. For example, I can see here that the game Infinity Blade is currently taking up 947 megabytes of space on my iPhone. My Photos and Camera app are taking up 197 megabytes. There's an app I have installed called PhotoSync taking up 32 megabytes, and so on. Tapping an app will give you more details. For example, I can tap Music, and here I can see that all of the music on my device currently takes up 669 megabytes of space, and the one audiobook I have takes up 215 megabytes of space. The nice thing here is that you can delete the items right from here. So if I'm done listening to this audiobook and I just want to free up the space, I can slide my finger across it to the left to reveal the delete button and just delete it. So that's how to manage the space on your device that's used by apps and their documents. Next, we have the iCloud settings. Here you can see how much total storage space you have and how much free space is available. Tap Manage Storage, and here you can see what specific items are taking up the space. In this case, I can see that my backup of my iPhone is taking up 50.9 megabytes, and my mail is taking up 69.7 megabytes. Now this is also where you can purchase more storage space on iCloud if the free 5 gigabytes of space isn't enough for you, or if you want to downgrade your plan if you've previously purchased more space. Just tap Change Storage Plan, and you can choose and purchase the storage plan you want to use. I'll tap back a couple times. Now the next area here is battery usage, and the only item we have here is battery percentage. As you're probably aware, your device has a little icon of battery life up in the upper right-hand corner, and the bar inside it gives you an approximation of about how much power is left. If you want a more precise measure, you can turn on the battery percentage indicator, which will give you a slightly better idea of how much battery power you have left. The next section is time since last full charge, and that lets you know how long your iPhone screen has been unlocked and in use since the last full charge. The standby field lets you know how much time your iPhone has been locked but turned on since the last full charge. If you've plugged in your iPhone but it hasn't reached a full charge, there'll be an indicator here that says iPhone has been plugged in since the last full charge. When you do fully recharge your battery, the numbers here are going to be reset. This can be useful if you're trying to get a good idea of your iPhone's battery life, or if you're a parent trying to keep track of your child's iPhone or iPod Touch usage. Now, if you've used an iPhone prior to iOS 7, you might remember that there used to be another section under usage for cellular usage. In iOS 7, that's been moved to its own section on the main settings screen. So here we'll find cellular. Now, obviously, if you have an iPod Touch or an iPad without cellular capability, you won't have these settings. But the information that used to be found under usage can be found if you scroll down a bit here. Under call time, you've got the amount of time you spent on phone calls for the current period and the lifetime of your phone. If you've never reset the statistics on your phone, these numbers will be identical. Below that, you'll find cellular data usage, which tells you how much data you've transmitted over your mobile carrier's data connection. Now, this doesn't include data transferred over Wi-Fi, so this is actually a good way to keep track of the data you use if you don't have an unlimited data plan. You can reset the data statistics anytime you want, so if you want to keep track of your data, just reset it after every billing cycle. To reset all the statistics, scroll down, and you can tap Reset Statistics. I'm just going to cancel that. But below that, you can see an indicator of the last time you reset your statistics. Lastly, new to iOS 7, we have this Use Cellular Data For section. If you're concerned about using up too much of your monthly data plan, you can use these switches to prevent these apps from updating themselves over your cellular connection. Below each app's name, you can see how much data you've transferred over your cell network for these apps. Switching off an app here means it will only grab data online when you're connected to a Wi-Fi network and not when you're on cellular data. Alright, so those are the options and info you'll find under the usage and cellular areas in System Settings.